Incredible discoveries that were made by people in their own backyards, but people do not find in the yards of their homes. And although in most cases we are talking about some minor findings, sometimes they're just a maze. This post will introduce us to the 10 most incredible findings. Ferrari car. In 1978, while digging in the ground in the backyards of a house in Los Angeles, two children found a Ferrari Dino 246 GTS. After the police dug up the car, it was found that the car was stolen. It is believed that the theft of the car and the subsequent burial were part of an insurance scam. The found Ferrari was handed over to insurance company after the car was put up for auction. Unfortunately, after being in the ground, the car was not in the best condition. The shell of prehistoric armadillo. Jose Antonio Nivas, an Argentinian, discovered a huge black dinosaur's egg near his farm, and he himself thought it turned out to be a shell of Glyptodon, a prehistoric armadillo the size of a small car. A hole was found in the shell, which was most likely made by another Glyptodon during the flight. Medieval treasures. In 2006, Andreas K., an Austrian resident, found a treasure trove with 200 jewels in his backyards: rings, brooches, buckles, and silver plates. The man put it in a box, took it to the cellar, and then forgot about it for 2 years. He only remembered it when he was going to move into another house. When the experts examined the jewelers, it turned out that their age is about 650 years. Andreas gave the find to the city museum free of charge. Meteorites, 6 times in a row. And this man didn't have to look for anything at all. You have to admit, there is very little chance that meteorite will fall in your yard. But in the yard of a resident of Bosnia, Radivoje Lajic, they fell as much as 6 times, contrary to all mathematical calculations. Scientists from Belgrade University have confirmed that the stones are indeed meteorites. They are carefully researching the magnetic fields around the Lajic house to understand the cause of an anomaly. Lajic recently decided to reinforce the roof for steel beams just in case. The bomb shelter is in excellent condition. When Chris and Cullen outcased both a house in California, they knew there was an anti-radiation bomb shelter built in the middle of the Cold War. An engineer who once lived in this house made it for himself. Chris and Cullen thought there must have been nothing left of the shelter after more than 50 years, but they were wrong. The shelter was in perfect condition, with paper napkins, sleeping pills, various steins, coffee cans, books and magazines, all intact. The tunnel leading to the Cheops pyramid. One of the inhabitants of the Egyptian village of El Harania, which is near the legendary Giza Plateau, dug in his yard a found of mysterious tunnel. It is probably a secret corridor leading to the largest and oldest in the 3 pyramids of Giza. The Great Pyramids of Cheops. Hafa. About the extent of such a tunnel wrote the ancient Greek historical Herodotus, who once visited Egypt. Indian bones from the last millennium. A spooky find was discovered in 2014 by Eli Ertag, a 14-year-old resident of Salt Lake City. The boy was digging a pound hole in the yard and came across human bones lying in the ground. The boy's father immediately called the police. The examination showed that the remains belonged to All-American Indian who lived here about 1,000 years ago. The excavations in the yard of the house were continued by archaeologists. Probably there used to be a whole Indian burial ground here, the study of which will help to learn more about the culture of the ancient peoples. I wonder what it's like to know that your house is an old Indian cemetery. $175,000 back in marijuana. In December 2012, Mac Reed, who lives in Los Angeles, decided to install solar panels on the roof of his house. When he opened the basement, he found a bag with jars, bags in and envelopes containing marijuana, apparently. When Reed wasn't home, someone broke into his backyard and hid the drugs. Subsequently, it turned out that the contents of the bag pulled $175,000. In case the offender returned for his goods, Reed left him a note with the words, "We found the bag and reported to the police. They confiscated the drugs and set up surveillance on my house. I'm sorry." The remains of dinosaurs. In 1997, John Lambert from Ipswich, England, decided to build a fence around the house. When he was digging, his shelf came across a big stone. John did not attach importance to the find, took it to the barn safety, forgetting about it for 16 years. In 2013, the man decided to take the find to specialists. It turned out to be the bone of a huge pliosaur sea lizard that lived in Earth from 60 to 250 million years ago. One of the biggest treasures in US history. In 2013, the two spouses discovered the treasure while walking the dog in the yard. They saw a rusty box sticking out of the ground with gold coin. Another 8 boxes of gold coins were buried in the yard between 1847 and 1894. Their freeze value was $27,980. The coins are well preserved. Some of them seems never to have been in circulation. Most of the coins of the wife sold out of the auction. How these boxes ended up in the backyard of the house is still a mystery. Nakotka was called Saddle Ridge treasure. Its total value is equal to $10 million modern dollars.